Hello everyone. Today we're going to make a video on what is crypto and a brief history of why it was created and where it is now. So we saw everything kind of start off with Bitcoin and maybe a few other things back in 2009, maybe a little bit before that. So what is Bitcoin to start off with? Why did they create it?
So why things were very important in around that time, right? We had the economic collapse, the Great Recession is what a lot of people are calling it, and really what it was there was too much power or too much influence in one hands, right? It was centralization. So we were afraid that if one bank were to fall, that our entire economy could collapse, right? So this really bred things and made people think, well, we really need to decentralize things. We want things to be spread out everywhere, and that's really what blockchain was created to do. Not only is it an immutable ledger, it's a ledger that's going to actually keep a record of everything that's happening on it, but it's decentralized. It's not any really one point of vulnerability, which is great. That's really why we want it, and why you're now seeing that technology put into so many other applications, whether it be from a bank to medical records to land registry. We're seeing it everywhere because people like that idea of having an immutable ledger that is always there. We can see what's going on, but also that it's not vulnerable to one attack.
Yeah, very cool. So we saw the rise of several different coins, right? But in 2009, the actual creation of Bitcoin came out.
So there is a little subtlety here. So there's actually like a capital B Bitcoin, which is the software, right? So, and then you have the lowercase b, which is Bitcoin, the native currency on top of it. Why the currency is important is because it actually helps the ecosystem keep going, right? We're incentivizing people to use it, and then we're also incentivizing people to actually keep supporting the system. That's what those miners are. The miners are the people that are actually, or the computers, right? They're actually making sure that those transactions are covered, making sure that what is on your computer is the same that's on my computer, and then we're putting those into the blockchain, right? So that's what it is. It's really based on a lot of libertarian ideals, is making sure that for the economy to continue to survive and thrive, there has to be incentives involved. And so really that's why that currency has value. And we're seeing that in some of these new tokens and currencies as well, is that platforms are being created, something like Ethereum, right? So Ethereum was created by a great team, but they wanted more flexibility. Bitcoin is great because it's very secure. But right now we're going to see as it scales, it gets a little clunky. Some of that might be because people are holding it. We're seeing, astronomical values. You're going from when it was less than a penny. Now, some days it's over, tens of thousands. So we're seeing that, and it's making their platform a little clunky. Where something like Ethereum comes in, it's a lot more flexible.
Okay, very cool. So when we hear about like Bitcoin reached so and so price, right? We're talking about lowercase b, not exactly the platform, right?
Yeah, and that's really it's just talking about that token that is on the network, and you want that because you can look at it in terms of this. As Bitcoin becomes more and more really ingrained in everything that we do, we see more and more blockchain use. You're going to see the value of that go up because more and more people are going to use it, right? The use case continues to develop. So the more people use it, the more demand there's going to be. And really that's why you're going to see that the value of Bitcoin is going to go up, not only because it is scarce, that there's only going to be about 21 million of those, but as people use it more and more, you're going to see that the value continues to rise. One great thing about Bitcoin, the currency, is that some people might not realize is that you can own fractions of it. And that's a big thing. We've been talking to people about this a lot, and they realize like, oh, I think I missed the wave. I just don't have enough to buy an entire Bitcoin. So that's a misnomer that we want to make sure that people understand, is that you can buy fractions of it, and you can still trade that on the network. Whether you want to pay for a cup of coffee, you want to pay a developer, you just want to buy and hold it, you can buy fractions of it and see it appreciate over time.
Yeah, that's why it's been nice for kind of the small players, right? If you want to come in, you can play around with as little as several dollars, right? You can buy Bitcoin and then trade that back and forth.
Yeah, and I mean, really, one of these great things is that we're really going into this technological wave, right? We kind of have reality down here. You and I are talking, and now we have this internet, right? We're shooting this video so it can reach millions of people, and then we're going to see this creation of this more virtual reality, right? The Internet of Things, and that's really where a lot of these technologies are going to really develop and thrive. So we're going to see, not only are we going to be able to use some of these currencies to block ads. So, advertising is great, right? It spreads a message, but a lot of times you don't want to be bombarded with things. So now we're going to be able to use some of these cryptocurrencies to block ads. We're going to use some of these other cryptocurrencies to actually like tip people. If you like their work, if you like this video that we're creating, if you like an article that's published, you can actually tip those people in cryptocurrency. So we're going to really see this as it's the internet of money. We're going to see these things start to creep into everything that you're using, from Amazon down to like blog posts.
Very cool. So, and we've kind of seen this grow to be more than just currency, right? Like Bitcoin is an exchangeable currency, but we've seen other things kind of branch off from this, right?
And really, that's what is great about it is, a lot of these were created, you had Vitalik over at Ethereum, again, wanting a flexible platform for people to be able to create on these decentralized applications. And you're seeing those start to come out now, right? So that's really where the boom in 2016 happened, was that they created this platform that allowed people to create their own tokens to really support their projects. And we saw those anything from like social media platforms all the way up to banking platforms were created on this flexible technology, which is great. And that's really where we saw the boom in those prices. We saw user adoption come in to where at the end of last year, you saw more users under the age of 25 buying into cryptocurrencies than there was into the traditional stock markets. So again, you're going to see this continue to rise over time because it's more and more practical for our daily lives.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of like what we want to do, is educate people on how to create like diversified portfolios of cryptocurrencies, right? So they're not just into Bitcoin. There's so much else that we need to see that might even go ahead of Bitcoin, maybe take it over, right? And we want to make sure that we're on that train.
We want to take a smart approach to this to make sure that you're doing research before investing in these, because though there is speculation, right? You could put $100 into a coin or a token today, and then you could see that exponential rise to where you're getting 1,000% back. But before you do any of those things, we want to make sure that you understand why you're buying into it, right? Is there an actual application for this? Is the technology sound? How good is the team? Can the team actually scale up to what it is? A lot of this is really a mixture of how Jordan and I approach this. Is we're taking a VC approach, so a venture capital approach, and then also, kind of a hedge fund or an investor approach, and we're looking at these things. Is there any intrinsic value? So that if I invest $100 into this company or this currency, is the currency going to be used, or is this company going to grow? You want to make sure that you establish that for yourself before you do invest.
Absolutely. So kind of like where we are sitting now, like in this crypto world, we're kind of just still in the beginning, right? We just hit 2018. Bitcoin saw all-time highs. Every currency saw all-time highs. But we don't think it's too late to get in.
No, and really that's another question that we field a lot of the times is that, did I miss the boat already, right? Did I miss Bitcoin? And again, no, because you can still invest in it over time. We really look at it as something that you're going to want part of your portfolio. So if you have a balanced portfolio, let's say you have real estate, you have T-bills, you have stocks, bonds, this is another asset class that you can have that we're big believers in. We actually think it's a hedge against inflation because a lot of these are scarce, and we do see that upside potential, right? So if you're watching this video in 2018, you could still see that there's still a good opportunity to get into something like Tesla or Amazon, because those things can still continue to grow in value. Those companies right now aren't delivering a whole lot on their actual earnings, but there's still a huge potential upside. We see a lot of that with these cryptocurrencies coming in, and more to come, right? It's still so new. Like, Jordan said before, if we're trying to make the analogy to the internet, which is probably the best thing that we can right now, is that it's really like we're in the 1993, 94 phase, where there is some titans in the space, right? We're going to say that Bitcoin is the titan in this space. But there's going to be a lot of these that go by the wayside, and then we're going to see new ones come in that are using that technology that's already built, whether it be blockchain, whether it be something that Ethereum's building and then building on top of that. So we're going to continue to see things continue to grow, get better, and then we'll see some that actually fall by the wayside. So that's really where you need to approach these with a good amount of research before you get in and try to get in kind of like a penny stock style where you're just throwing hundreds of dollars everywhere and hope that one goes up in value. You want to make sure that you're taking a smart approach.
Yeah. So really, the biggest thing that we want you to take away from this video and from our channel in general is that this is the future. We are switching over into the new internet, is a way to put it, and you need to be prepared for it. So we're going to teach you how to create diversified portfolios of all the different coins and tokens that will essentially be involved in every aspect of your life that we want you to take advantage of now, so you can be profitable going into the next several years.
We really see right now is a good time to whether it's going to be investing, whether you're going to be, actually deploying your capital into these companies directly via an ICO, or just actively watching these, you want to make sure that you have a good framework to build upon. So you want to make sure that you know what these technologies are, how to evaluate a team, how to evaluate the products and the technologies before you're actually making some of these calls. You may never invest, and that's fine. We're here to provide some information, but it necessarily might not be the best thing for you. So we just want to make sure that at the end of the day that you are gaining as much knowledge about this, because this is the wave of the future.
Absolutely. So continue to be educated. Look out for our videos. You should sign up for our newsletter below that we're going to keep you updated on everything that's happening from day to day in the crypto world. We'll give you our picks of what coins we think are about to explode. That way you can be as profitable as possible.
Thank you.